Hi, everybody. It's Mark Rushton of markrushton.com. It's Friday, August 6th, 2021. And I'm feeling good. Feeling really good. Played 18 holes of disc golf last night. Back to the gym later today. This will be the third time this week at the gym. And really enjoying lifting weights again. It's really great to get back into the gym. And it's good to play disc golf, too. Working different muscles and everything like that. It's trying to stay in shape best I can. I don't know. So what am I talking about today? I'm talking about something that, again, not many people are interested in, but it's something I got to talk about. And this is what I call it the one-way conversation about making playlists. Yeah. As you can see here, I'm Mark Rushton. I'm a recording artist, fine artist, host of the Ambient Rushton podcast, and host of occasional video program about fine art and music. Hello. So one thing that I've really gotten into the last 10 months is crafting playlists. And the last month or 6 weeks or so, crafting playlists and distributing them to different music streaming services. And as I've said before, currently I do pay for 6 different music streaming services. I really only use about 1.5 of them, and that's just for personal listening. And but the other ones are there for marketing purposes, right? To understand how my music and sounds are presented on those sites, whether or not I have everything out there, and to present my music on public playlists. And that's important to me because I discovered, some time ago that about 70% of the people who listen to my music listen to it from public playlists, either playlists that I have built or the people have found my tracks and they put them into their own public playlists. And, there's some music services out there that do have uh, kind of a stats, data analytics or whatever. And some of those you can dig into the data and kind of figure out how people find you, which playlist your music is in. And that's completely fascinating. I'd love to see even more of that with all the different services down the road. But that it's expensive and it takes time to build that sort of a thing. Artist services are it's an expense for businesses, so I get it. But as somebody who in my day job, I have to deal with systems and processes and databases and interfaces and all that stuff. It fascinates me. It just does. It fascinates me. So I love as a publishing distributed musician and recording artist getting that data back and looking into it. And like I said, 70% of my listeners uh, come from playlists. The other 30% come from radio services such as Spotify Radio, Pandora Radio, iHeartRadio, Slacker Radio, whatever that is. But I don't know. What did I read about Slacker Radio? I think they have about 800,000 to 1 million users. That's an audience. It's not the biggest audience in the world, but it's an audience. And as I like to say, you should be everywhere. So my history as far as making playlists, I mean, when I was a kid, like back in high school or whatever, you had your vinyl records and you had your cassette tapes or 8 tracks. I think I started with 8 tracks actually, recording, making little mixtapes. I did that with cassettes too, gave them off to friends. In high school and college, I was a radio DJ. And so, I am a DJ. I am what I play. And that was fun. That was fun too. That was fun for a while. And, in the 90s, as we got in the 90s and the early aughts, I burned CDs to make sort of little best ofs just for myself driving down the road. And of course, I've listened to Sirius XM along the way, which is not like a mixtape, but they have good programmatic channels of the kind of music that you might like, as opposed to terrestrial radio, which is somebody else's favorite song. So anyway, that aside, yeah, I guess it was about 10 months ago. I have made public playlists over the years, mainly on Spotify, just for my own giggles. And it turned out over time, pardon me here, over time, a lot lot of those playlists have found an audience. They used to have followers, now they're called likes. I can go into the Spotify for Artist data and see how much activity those playlists get on a daily, a weekly, monthly, since 2015 basis, and it's good to know. And what are the tracks that the people like, right? And you build things off that. You just learn. It's like a whole learning process. Totally fascinating to me. Of course, not all streaming services promote user-generated content. One thing I've really discovered here, time and time again, Apple Music, just you could make public playlists. I can anyway until the end of time. They don't seem to be promoted in any way. When you do a search, they don't seem to get any traction. I have Apple Music for Artists. I look into the analytics on there. You can filter by playlist. It's either not working. The data reporting is either not working, or they do not promote user-generated content. And my experience with Apple Music is that they don't really promote user-generated content. They like to promote their own stuff, their own curated stuff. And well, I'm just going to keep on building, right? I'm just going to keep on building. Someday, maybe crack the code on that. And other services behave different ways. Spotify, it's just a matter of getting somebody to see it and like it, and and other people, and then it builds. I don't know whether the we always use the phrase algorithm. You tease the algorithm and it gets promoted more. Well, getting the algorithm interested in what you have, it can be a little difficult. Of course, there's a lot of people out there that claim to have the keys to the safe, but I don't know if that's true. They always want money for it, right? But Spotify, if you make something that people do like, it does tend to spread, to get an additional audience. And thank you, Spotify. I will say that. Thank you. Pandora does a good job too, particularly if you're in their AMP system, which is extremely complex to set up and learn, but it's very rewarding if you can, if you spend time learning it and using it. The same thing with Deezer. I'm under the impression, and I've only been kind of using Deezer now a month or so, something like that. I've been in Deezer for Creators for almost a month, and again, the data analytics is extremely limited. I get the impression from some of the data that I have that Deezer does promote user-generated content in the form of playlists, that I am getting streams, getting listens because of having that stuff out there. And Amazon, I know Amazon, I get monthly reports from this distributor, that distributor, and there's a couple tracks that do very. I have no idea why. You don't get any analytics from other than royalty statements from Amazon, and there's one track, mainly one track. There's some others that do okay too, but there's one little unicorn out there, and it's got to be in some sort of playlist. It just has to be. I can't imagine that it would be any other way. But I don't know how to do it. Right? I don't know how it got done. But thank you, Amazon. I appreciate it. And again, those that don't have data analytics services, I mean, if you're an experimentalist like I am, I'm experimenting with playlists, experimenting with everything about that. If you don't have that analytics on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, you're going to have to wait a minimum of 3 to 4 months before, it's going to be like a minimum of 4 months before you kind of figure out whether or not it works. Usually it's about a 3-month lag time from the time that somebody streams something to the time that you get the reporting from your distributor. But really, I'm going to assume at least a minimum of 6 months. 6 months. Like, yeah, I'll be building playlists for 6 months. Where will we be then? Let's take a look, right? So I don't, and I don't really think, I don't think that many artists do this. I really just talking around and reading forums over the years and stuff. Most most musicians, they just want to complain about everything. They just complain about the per stream. They complain about their Facebook ads not working. Really? They spend an inordinate amount of time on videos and things that don't work, and things that don't work for other people, and they're mired, and or they just want to shut up and play guitar, right? They just want to play guitar, right? I just want to play. I don't really care about all the other stuff. Or they just want to play live. That's fine too. That's fine too. But there's, these systems out here. Like I said, in the day, I'm a process guy. I'm a systems guy. I'm a data guy, and so I'm applying certain aspects of what I do in my day job over on the music and sounds, the recording artist side. Um, all right, I probably lost everybody already, but uh, I guess that's largely it. I mean, I could go into the other stuff. I think I might save that for an additional video here. Well, that's just sort of my general fundamental philosophy with regard to playlists. I've kind of really been doing it in earnest for since October 2020, and I've really kind of ramped it up as far as daily playlist making, multiple playlists on a daily basis, and then distributing them via, as you can see up here, Sound IIZ, using that service to distribute them to all the different music streaming services where I have accounts, paid for or otherwise. And it's just going to take a while to determine whether or not that works. So, I'm just reporting on the experiment here. And the other thing to remember, currently, as of, I guess it's like August 2020, around 450 million people worldwide pay a monthly or yearly fee for streaming music, for premium streaming services worldwide. And the industry experts, seem to think that number is going to grow to 2 billion worldwide by 2030. 2 billion. So we're going to go from 450 million to 2 billion. And of course, a lot of those people will be paying much less than Americans, Europeans, and South Americans, and Japanese, and all that sort of stuff. But still, that's a significant increase. And I kind of feel like, yeah, you should be building for the future. You should be building playlists for the future, because if 70% of people, random people, is how, like I always say, people aren't necessarily looking for you. They're looking for the kind of music and sounds that you produce. So if you pre-build that, all right, I'm going to save the second half for another video. I've talked enough as it is here, but that's sort of my philosophy about that. And what I'm doing right now is to experiment. And I guess, this one-way conversation about playlists, it's something that, I kind of like to look back on and like, oh, wow, I really nailed it, or man, I was off. Couldn't see the forest for the trees, right? So that's kind of what I'm doing here with these videos. No one's going to watch these anyway. They're certainly not going to watch them to the end. Like, who are you anyway? I just, yeah, well, I publish under my own name and about 20 different names. So I'll talk more about that later. Anyway, that's it for today. Got to get back to the day job here. And my backup drive here is complaining. Just showing up here. Just showing up in the middle of nowhere. What? I don't want to scan it anyway. It is Friday, August 6th, 2021. And I hope I bored you to death. I hope you're a musician. You're like, oh, what's more? What's about this daily playlist making stuff? What is this? What's this? What? Stick around. Stick around. I'll keep you informed of what's going on. You might learn something.